Good evening, iRacers. Welcome to Apex Racing TV's coverage of the Porsche iRacing Cup. We're here at the Gilles Villeneuve circuit in Montreal, and we have got just a few moments until the cars are going to be lining up on the grid, ready for their strength of field race for this week. My name's Lee Thompson. Joining me on double duty today is Conrad Venter on cameras and comms. Evening, Conrad.
Good evening, Lee. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. We had a little bit of a frantic rush just before the broadcast come up, but we think we're all sorted now. Let's have a quick run through the grid as they start to form up. Pole position goes to Vedran Kaj with a 1 minute 36.412. Just a tenth behind is Patrick Holtzman then in second, David Williams in third, with Peter Similak in fourth. Mikko Mikhaila in fifth, with John Duval in sixth, Renzo Brockman in seventh, Tom Valentini in eighth, Sebastian Dunkel in ninth, and Jack Sedgwick rounding out the top 10. Just 3-4 tenths between the top 10, first and 10th, so yeah, pretty close grid.
Yeah, it's. I think where you qualified for this race is going to be really important. I know. Our usual cameraman Sam and myself have done a few races, and overtaking is really difficult. But yeah, I think we can expect to see a few accidents as well with the close proximity of the walls.
Yeah, I think so. We're definitely going to need to keep our fingers crossed that they get through these first couple of turns cleanly on this opening lap especially. I can hear the revs building, waiting for the lights to go green for the start of the race tonight. Porsche iRacing Cup, and off they go. Good start off for the pole position as they head down in towards turn one, and can they get through cleanly?
All seems to be looking good so far. A little bit of argy-bargy just behind the leaders, but it's all good. Patrick Holtzman managed to keep. He's in he's taking the lead. Yeah, that's all. Oh, a big accident as we're coming to the first chicane. There's a couple of cars down.
Yeah, and Patrick Holtzman has moved up into that first position through his opening through corners. Vedran Kaj in second, David Williams in third, Mikko in fourth, John Duval in fifth, Peter in sixth, Tom in seventh, Jack Sedgwick in eighth, Alexander Gravu in ninth, and Sebastian Dunkel in 10th. As there looks like some moves going on just further behind between Griffin Racy as they head towards this next chicane under the bridge.
As you can see, it's they've already spread out into a nice train. The first sort of 9 or 10 cars behind them, it's a little bit more frantic. As Jack Sedgwick is coming out of the hairpin, I think that's with Alexander Gravel.
Yeah, and they're very, very close through the hairpin. Are they going to be able to pop out of the slipstream here as they come into the final chicane, approaching the Wall of Champions? Looks to inside, they're going too wide through that final chicane, just about scramble through. But who's going to get run down into turn one?
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of crumpled up rear ends after this race, and they still added.
Oh yeah, just manages to squeeze through in turn one there. So Tom manages to hold on to that 7th position for the time being, but under lots and lots of pressure there through the opening lap. Back up front, we've still got Holtzman, then Vedran Kaj first and second. Each of these cars have just got a few car lengths between them, just nice and neat single file, but pushing like crazy. I can see them sliding all over the place through the chicanes.
Yeah, like I said, overtaking is going to be really difficult once I get strung out like this. You know, it's sort of easy to follow someone, but yeah, getting enough speed to build up in the slipstream down these longest straights is very difficult in this car.
Yeah, and it's so tempting just to keep pushing that a little bit more each lap, and just before you know it, you're getting closer and closer to that outside wall. As I see Holtzman come very close to that outside wall as he exits the hairpin. Manages to get a good exit. He's really trying to break away from that group behind now, so he's got a good second gap or so, and then the 5 cars behind them really are pretty nip and tuck. Further back, we've still got Sedgwick and Valentini side by side as they come towards the final chicane again. So Sedgwick looks to take that position as they come in, clambering over those curves, but Tom tries to get the cut back again and moves back alongside as they approach turn 1. Looks like that Tom there has just about got it covered off for now. Oh, sorry, Jack rather. Oh, but he goes very, very deep into turn 1 though, scrambling over the grass on the outside. So Tom thought he might have been able to capitalise a little bit more, but had to just be a little bit cautious, and these guys squabbling has allowed the 2 cars behind to really close up massively now.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. You can see how quickly those 2 cars behind them close the gap, just with them squabbling through 2 corners. Funny enough, we don't have any of our race winners from the previous 2 weeks attending tonight. This is giving the opportunity for a new driver to get a bit of TV time into for this SOF race on a Monday night.
Yeah, and at the sharp end of the field, there isn't a huge amount of the guys here who are at the top in the championship so far. So I'm seeing John DeVale, I'm seeing David Williams and Peter Similek, and I think that's all I can see at the top there. So yeah, we've got a few of the stronger guys perhaps missing, but I'm seeing second and third getting closer together as they head towards the final chicane. Vedran Kaj under pressure from David Williams, looking to just sneak his nose out a little bit as they approach the braking zone, but looks to get a clean run through chicane, see if he can line them up for turn 1.
I mean, we've got a right old gaggle a little bit further back for 11th place. What's it, Zook and Kotavara going side by side through the final chicane with a couple of cars just behind them as well.
Yeah, and they're still side by side as they head in towards turn 1. Petteri Kotavara looking to take that inside line, sweeping through turn 2 as well, and he just gets pushed out a little bit wide, loses out 2 positions there. So he's almost 3 wide as they come up to the first or the second chicane. And yeah, Kotavara gets shuffled down another spot, side by side through that chicane. They just about get through cleanly.
Oh, they do get close to that wall, don't they?
It's great to see these cars being able to just rub the door handles a little bit as well as rubbing those walls. Great bit of driving there by all the cars, getting through those sequence of corners, lots of changes of position, but they all got through cleanly. So back at the front, Holtzman still trying to just edge away a little bit. So last time around 136.562 for Holtzman. Vedran Kaj, who was having to defend slightly on that last lap, just 7/10 slower last time by. So he's under a little bit less pressure from David Williams this time. So he's had a good lap, and it's going to be a little bit more comfortable for him coming into that final chicane.
Yeah, and David Williams will be looking to make amends for the race he had from around Okinawa last week. He had a bit of a nightmare after an early race incident that put him right back. So yeah, different fortunes this week. Back at the front, just come across the line. Holtzman with a 36.9. Yeah, just getting another 3/4 tenths and 2 cars behind him.
Yeah, so we've got 2 main groups forming up now, haven't we? So from second position back to 6th position, and then from 7th position we've got those 4 cars who we were looking at a moment ago back to 10th, and then we've got that big battle going on still between the next 4 cars, 11th position back. They're still squabbling hard, and looks like I think Petteri Kotavara may have a little bit of damage that he's got in those first laps, because he's just dropped off the back of that group now as well.
See if we can get a shot of his car. It is so difficult to tell. Usually it's first signs are on the rear wing. It amazes me week after week watching these top splits with the commitment that these guys take some of these corners, and it's yeah, you compare it to what somebody like me does, and it's like they're driving 2 different cars.
Yeah, and I mean this is a prime example of the sort of circuit where you really are trying to manage that risk all the way around. These Porsches, they're more comfortable than some of the cars on the surface course, scrambling over these curbs. but some of them are still going to bite you hard, especially at the final chicane approaching the Wall of Champions, as I see Sebastian Dunkel just having a little nose as they come into that final chicane. It takes a huge chunk of curb on the second part of the chicane and practically does a bit of stunt driving up on two wheels there.
Richard Towler is going to be under a little bit of pressure coming into the first corner.
When he overcooks it a little bit. And so, yeah, here we go. Gets the cut back on turn 2 there. Christian looks to cut back up the inside. He's got the drive out of that corner. Can he hang on alongside? He can. Later on the brakes, all bit quick in though. Back steps out. Can Towler now get the cut back again? He's going to be on the inside now for the next chicane if he can hang it around the outside of his super fast corner, but he can't. He has to back right out of it. I think perhaps a bit of a dirty part of the track as well, and bailed out of it, made sure he wasn't going to have issues with that wall.
You can see how Towler was fighting that car as they came around that right hand just before they got into the chicane. Like you say, on the dirty side of the track.
Yeah, I mean, it is very, very tough to go offline on that corner, even before they improved the track modelling in this service, and really there's that difference now between the clean line and dirty line. Even before then, that really was a corner where it's very, very tough to go offline and not run wide out towards that wall on the outside. But they survived this time around. So let's look back at the front again. Patrick Holtzman just about to complete another lap, about to complete lap 6. He comes across the line with a 1 minute, here we go, just a touch early saying it, 1 minute 37 that time, so just a tenth or two slower than he has been, and we're then seeing still about 3 or 4 tenth gap in lap time between himself and the cars behind, so veteran car that time 37.4, as was David Williams. So Williams still hustling veteran there for that second position, but not in a position to challenge for now. Mikko just dropping back ever slightly as the back kicks out going into the second chicane there and brushes, scrapes up against the wall on exit as well. So they're just dropping back off the podium spots just a fraction, whilst the battle between Jack Sedgwick and Tom Valentina has just calmed down for now as well.
I've seen quite a few cars with just a little bit of rear wing damage. I think most of that's coming through a little bit of contact with the Wall of Champions and that exit on the first chicane. We'll keep an eye on Vision Crawl. He's one of the cars with the damage on that rear wing. See how it affects him for the rest of the race.
And Richard Towler under a little bit of pressure again as they come up to the third chicane in the lap. He's got Griffin Racy all over the back of him now, as Christian is just starting to break away in front of them. So is Richard going to need to defend as they come into the hairpin? Is he going to stay over to the right of the circuit a bit? No, he's comfortable, holds his line, and they just need to get that clean exit. Maybe a touch deep for Richard on that one there, and Griffin was able to hit the apex a little bit cleaner. But is the straighter exit going to make much of a difference? So yeah, Towler able to get the drive off the corner anyway. All safe again for now.
Oh, and you can really see the difference in lap time between these guys running 12th, 13th and 14th with the fighting and the front runners, who's easily in the 1:37s, and these guys are in the 1 minute 40s.
Yeah, I mean, especially on a circuit like this, where again it is very much a one-line circuit, very narrow racing line at most of the corners here. Yeah, that little bit of squabbling, little bit of defending is going to make that big difference as we're seeing in lap time. And as you said at the start, you're going to get there's a little bit of spread due to the nature of the cars and the circuit anyway. But it's good that we've got these little groups still battling away within that.
I think what is nice is it's a very short season. It's only 5 weeks. We had Nordschleife in week 1, which is a unique circuit on its own, and then between week 2 and 3, which is Akiyama and now Montreal this week, as we have Tom Valentini climbing a couple of places, and that I wonder if something happened there, but that fight seems to have spread out a little bit.
Yeah, Jack Sedgwick is a long way back now, so I think it's him that's lost out. He's dropped 2 positions, and so as you say, I think perhaps an issue at some point in the lap there.
I'll quickly see if we can bring it up on the replay. Yeah, no, it must have happened a little bit earlier in the lap, which we missed. But like I was saying, we had Okayama last week. We've got Montreal this week. Both two tracks where it's really difficult to overtake. Considering all of that, for week 4, we're in for a right old treat when these cars go to Le Mans.
Yeah, it's going to be a spectacular sight to see and to hear as well, with these great sounding cars thundering around the classic circuit that is Le Mans. Great seeing them. Great seeing places like that. Of course, now that we have Le Mans, Nürburgring, etc. on the service, it's really their these sort of cars' home, of course.
I'm just thinking, where are we? We are Summit Point for week 5. Well, that's going to be very similar to this, isn't it?
Yeah, one of the original tracks on the service compared to these more modern ones. They don't quite look the part anymore, do they? But Summit Point is a fun track for the. It's not got the world class reputation, maybe, of course, that these other ones that we're talking about. But we've all driven Summit Point in the rookie series as we've come through, and I think most people like it. I certainly have that as one of my preferred circuits. I like to drive a little MX-5 at.
From my personal point of view, it's very much dependent on the car that I'm driving. Right,
so I'm seeing Vedran just defending a little bit more for second position now. David Williams sticks his nose out again just to remind him that he's there. So these two are still locked in this battle as they both scramble over the first curb into the chicane. And same then for the guys back in 11th, 12th, 13th position. They're looking like maybe shuffling things up as they come to the final chicane. Richard Towler looking to go up the inside, overcooks it a little bit. I think the guys are getting cut back and had to check up, and big contact, and I think they didn't get as much damage as they might have. They might have got away with that, but more contact then as they try and recover. Yeah, that was unfortunate. It's just to say Towler got the position made on the approach, just couldn't get the car quite slowed down enough, had to really back out of it halfway through the chicane, and that just left the guys behind nowhere to go. It was a shame then, but that's just a little bit of tangling as the guys tried to rejoin the circuit after that.
Oh yeah, that wasn't a great rejoin. Oh, if I can pick up who it was. I think it was Rassi. He drove back onto the track and took out a Coanda car. Like I said, not a great piece of driving at all. Well, considering we're within the final 10 minutes of the race, and that being our first big incident, it's not bad going.
No, I say we certainly managed to avoid too much carnage in the opening lap, and the groups have just merged a little bit now between 4th position all the way back to 10th spot. So that's pretty much one big group now, just with a little bit of action that we had there on the end of that lap. So we'll see who can close up, who's going to be struggling to hang on to that group, and whether we get any more battles just forming from there. Still, David Williams very close to Vedran there. Really wants that second position.
Yeah, I think he might do well just to have a little look, show his car in the wing mirrors of Kroll as they come into a couple of corners, and then see where Kroll is vulnerable coming into the final few laps.
Yeah, problem for Williams from what I've seen so far is it doesn't look like there's really anywhere where he has got a significant advantage. He's maybe just got a fraction of time on him in the draft, sort of all round the lap, but I haven't really seen a place where he's been sizing him up. He's just been showing his nose here and now. I've never really seen so far that he's had opportunity to have a real run, but Vedran certainly is pushing hard, just brushing against the wall on the chicane again there, and really trying to take all of the space he can. He really defended hard into the hairpin now. I was a little bit surprised. I didn't feel like Williams was massively close to him on the approach, but yeah, he defended hard, and we'll see if Williams can take an advantage now.
Yeah, that gap just over 2 tenths as they come down the final part of the straight. Kroll going defensive again. Yeah,
so Williams has got a bit of a run this time, tries to get the overlap on the outside. How brave are they going to be? Williams tries to just hang in there, but can't quite do it, so he didn't back out of it with an early braking, and they survived, and Williams has got to just make that little bit of time up again.
Yeah, and just that little bit that he had to back out cost him half a second. Well, the gap is now up to just 7.5 tenths. Looks like there's a bit of a battle going on from 5th place backwards. Got Peter Smelek 5th place all the way back to Jack Sedgwick, who's in 10th, and each of those cars are separated by half a second each.
Yeah, this is looking like developing quite nicely for the last few minutes now of the race. It's Miko just at the front of that queue as he power slides through the chicane. He's got a little bit of damage on that car as well, so he's working hard trying to defend still from Petter Similak. And at the minute, they're all very, very close in time. We're not really seeing any progress being made by any of them there in that group. And scanning through the whole track, apart from maybe this battle between second and third, there's really nothing else happening right at this minute in terms of a move being made. So the big group here at the front certainly can develop into something. We'll just see. All it's going to take is a mistake from one of them, and things can quickly change.
We've got a tasty piece of battling going on between Guven and Sven Dreyer for 16th place. Dreyer to have a little look into that second chicane. Oh, he's going to have another look coming out of the hairpin. His car looks like it's seen better days.
Yeah, we just had a little bit of an issue through the final chicane for Jack Sedgwick and for Alexandre Greville, as they just get themselves tangled up a little bit going through the Wall of Champions. So they've just dropped slightly off the back of that group we were talking about.
Quite a few cars in that train still. Like you say, there's a bit of a gap between Dunkel and Cedric now, just over a second and a half. As we come up under 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, and like you were saying a minute ago, this battle between Griffin Racy and Guven is still in full motion. Both got damage on the rear wing, and Guven with damage on the front as well, but they're both pushing hard. Looks like Guven just manages to get the car stopped for the chicane, locking up all 4 wheels briefly there, but keeping it online and still pushing Griffin hard.
Well, I'm surprised Rassi's car is going as well as it is after that good old whack that it got from the Coanda car coming out of the final chicane.
So it looks like David Williams' challenge for second position is just holding off for now. He's managed to claw his way back in after that attempt a lap or two ago, but he's still not quite in a position to challenge. Miko is still defending hard in 4th position from Petter Similak, and those first 3-4 cars in this group are actually getting a little bit close now. So Petter is the one under a little bit more pressure from John Duval as they come into turn 1. A little bit of a tighter line for Petter there compared to Miko in front, and that gives him a wider turn 2, and I almost thought that John Duval was going to look to just maybe stick his nose in a little bit through turn 2 there, but there really wasn't the opportunity. But yeah, looking like something can happen there.
Yeah, this car, I think it's half the sector. You look like you're getting closer coming out of turn 2, but this car's got so much traction, and these guys get under power so early that you can almost use it as a tool to defend. If I was sitting in the back of this massive train, then I'd be just praying and hoping for something to kick off from the front.
Yeah, very easily. One of those guys there can make up some big positions. All it's going to take is a small error from someone ahead. I just cut to P2 and 3 and thought I saw a puff of smoke, but they're both as they were. So perhaps they were just pushing hard on the brakes there. But Williams still not quite in a position to challenge this time by. Still, I'm seeing maybe John Duval looking like the most likely car to make a move, as he's still trying to put the pressure on Petter in 5th. Sorry.
His cars look great coming through this
really
chicane and coming out of it. Yeah.
I bet this track is it is a fun track, but it is very, very tricky, and lots of cars that we have on the iRacing service. But I bet this is a fun car to clamber and clatter over those curves and really see how much of the track you can use. And they look like they soak them up pretty well.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, having done a couple of races, usually those curves are the type of thing on the track that you try and avoid, but you can really ride them quite hard on in the Porsche.
And it looks like John Duval has just dropped off the back a little bit of Petrovers, and now he's the one under pressure from Tom Valentini as they come to turns 8 and 9 under the bridge. So John Duval is going to need to make sure he gets a clean exit through here so that he's not under pressure as they come up towards the hairpin.
Yeah, well, we'll try and stay with this battle for as long as we can. I think Patrick Holtzman, our leader, is just on his run down to the start-finish line, which will start the final lap of the race.
And Valentini was very, very close going through the hairpin there, almost running to the back of John Duval, and that just cost him maybe a fraction of momentum then on the exit, but still fighting hard. And David Williams for that battle for second position is still just within that 10th or two, but still I haven't seen him being able to make another real move for that spot since we saw it, 3 laps ago or so. But a little bit of contact there, was it, as they went through turn 2? If not, it was super, super close. I think he just tagged the back of Vedran there, but they both survive it, stayed wheels pointing forward, and continue fighting hard.
Oh, well, it's now or never for him. He's just lost a little bit of space after that bit of contact. Gap is about 3/4 tenths of a second. Yeah, I think unless Vedran Kroll makes any big mistakes in the second part of the circuit, he's not going to give David Williams a look in for that second place.
Yeah, he's been defending well and hard all the way through the race so far. But yeah, I was thinking the same as you. He took a lot of curb, and
I think he took too much.
He did. It didn't look right, did it? We both saw it at the same time. So I was just saying, after all that defending all race long, not really seeing him making any mistakes, on the very final lap, he allows David Williams that second spot on the podium there.
That's a bit of a great commentator's curse there.
So Patrick Holtzman then coming through the final chicane onto the front straight. He takes the win of the night. Patrick Holtzman led almost from start to finish once he got halfway through that first lap there. So yeah, P1 for Patrick Holtzman, P2 then for David Williams, as we saw. Vedran Kaj ends up in that third position. Mikko then in fourth, with Petr Similik in fifth. John Duval in sixth. Tom Valentini in seventh. Sebastian Dunkel eighth, with Alexander Gravel in ninth. And in 10th position is Jack Sedgwick. So yeah, he ended up just losing those few spots halfway through the lap there, halfway through the race.
Well, I've got a great little run down to the line here between Petru Katavara and I think it's Andy Kunzli. Yeah, the rest of them coming over the line and drips and drabs. It's almost like the winded lot making their way towards the finish. We've still got a couple of cars out there. Caroni is coming across the finish line. Daniel Cruz as well. David Nichols just making his way down to the final chicane in 22nd place. And then, for the second time in 3 weeks, Rens Brookman. He finished down in 23rd place. He had an incident around Nordschleife on the first lap as well. He's not been. He had a decent result last week, but 2 out of 3 races has not been a good result for him so far for these SOF races.
Yeah, so like you called at the start of the race, Conrad, that was a tough race for all the guys out there. We didn't see a huge amount of actual overtaking, but for a lot of them, they were either defending hard pretty much all race long, or were attacking hard all race long, and it's a lot of pressure to have to soak up when you've got that car in the mirrors there, especially in this circuit with these walls around you the whole time. So good job from all the guys there. Unfortunate for Vedran that we provided that curse on the last lap there. What a, it was the very last half of a lap, and just overcooked it going into turns 8 and 9, scrambling over the second curb, and that was it. Slowdown penalty, but nonetheless, still podium result. Good points on the board, I'm sure. But no doubt he'll be extremely disappointed with coming so close to the next step.
Yeah, it was literally like 4 corners from the end.
It's never over until it's over.
Or so they say. Right, I think
So,
with that we can run through the final order.
Yeah, so Patrick Holtzman in the end then wins by almost 9 seconds, 8.9 seconds with 25 minutes and 56 second race. Vedran Khan, David Williams then, in that second position, 9 seconds behind, as we said. Vedran Kraj then in third. Michelio in fourth with Peter Semek in fifth. John DeVille in sixth with Tom Valentini in seventh. Sebastian Dunkel eighth with Alexandra Gravu in ninth. Jack Sojic running out the top 10 with Christian Filozuk in 11th. Richard Towler then in 12th with Petri Kotavara in 13th. Griffin Racy in 14th. He did finish ahead in the end then of Griven in 15th. 16th is Matteo Prudhomme. 17th Sven Dreyer. 18th is John Bonta. And 19th Dwaj Caroni. 20th Daniel Cruz. 21st, David Nicol. 22nd was Andy Kunzili, and he was the last car running.
So, like we mentioned before, next week we've got Le Mans coming up. Very different track to what we've seen in the last 2 weeks, and I'm actually looking forward to it. It should be good to see these cars stretch their legs down those long straights and the fast-flowing corners as well. And hopefully we'll be in for a few more overtakes than we have seen in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, definitely that long straights that they've got, of course, is going to give them plenty of opportunity to try and get a run. I wonder how early they're going to top out on those straights, but we'll see. And they're only going to get 3 or 4 laps, and that'll be the 25 minutes up.
Yeah, I think it's about a 6 lap race, so not a lot of laps and corners to make your move, but like I said, we've got those long straights. It'll be great to see the cars going down there.
And so, as you say, very short season for the guys this year. It'll be interesting to see what kind of schedule they then put together for next season. There's obviously already a bit of variety they've put in these just 5 weeks that I've had here, but it'll be interesting to see what they put together for next season.
Well, I do believe the schedule has been released, and one track that did catch my eye was Brands Hatch Indy. 37 laps of that.
Oh dear.
Oh, that should be fun. Yeah, oh dear, exactly.
I mean, Brands Hatch, I love the place, but don't give them the Poxy Indy circuit. Give them the Grand Prix circuit. Deary me, that's going through shin curve things in this car. That sounds like great fun. Why take that away from them? Hey-ho.
Well, certainly something to look at for season 3. I assume, but it should be. They've gone away from the 25-minute races for next season, and it's all a certain amount of laps. I think it still equates to about 25 minutes a race. I think it just makes it easier in terms of fuel calculations and that kind of thing. But
easier for commentators as well.
Yeah, we know when the last lap is actually the last lap.
Right, so I think that's going to do then for our broadcast of the Strength of Field for the Porsche iRacing Cup here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Montreal. Cracking race from the guys. Well done for it mostly being clean out there. Tough place to pound around for 25 minutes. Thank you, Conrad, for the excellent work on cameras and commentating. And we shall see you guys next week at the very different circuit of Le Mans. See you.